4, 3.
We'll do it live!
Now we're live! Aaron Kennedy. The general craziness of it, the impact on your life.
We have gone through so many stories and we said, you know what? This should not be kept to the two of us. Hi, Megan.
Hi, Aaron. On a side note, Lance chose now to mow the lawn.
Of course he did. Just make sure your mic's plugged in.
I think it. Oh, yeah, it is. We're good. We're good.
It's just life. That's okay. Hey, super excited about today. We have an amazing guest, somebody who is literally on the top of my list since we've started chatting, Megan.
Yeah.
Jenny
Mostly
Milkowski.
because like we all used to work together and she was so fun that I just want to catch up with her and see what's going on.
Yeah. So why don't we just bring her in, everybody? Jenny Milkowski. Hi, Jenny.
Hi. Y'all are sucking up big time. Yay.
Yeah.
And you're not going to disappoint because that's what's awesome about you. You know, Jenny, you are such a ray of sunshine. I met you when you were writing for the morning show.
I think if you asked some of my exes, they would beg to differ, but
but they're not here now. Only we are.
No, only us.
That's right.
Yeah.
We have only positive feelings.
Yeah, but I mean, Jenny, it's such a kick to have you on because you have such a great story that I can't wait to kind of dive into. But maybe we should start at the beginning because Megan said she kind of taught you everything that you know.
That's right. That's right.
It was so funny. I was literally like, Jenny, and then I was like, you know what? I swear I taught her how to use the weather computer.
Oh yeah, totally.
Tell people the story.
Like is a specific story or just my background?
No, yeah, because when you and Aaron and I were working together, initially you were a writer on the show, which for anybody who doesn't get TV means Jenny wasn't on TV at the beginning.
Yeah. I'll keep it super short, but yeah, my whole background was weird. Like I went to school for broadcast journalism and I told myself, I am never working in some stupid small little town. I'm going to LA. So what did I do? Got a job in like Market 200 and worked in a small town. So that was like my first job, reporting. And I did the weather. I did fill in weather. I was only there a year because I had like family reasons. I needed to come back to Chicago. So by the grace of God, I was working, I worked for Jerry Springer, I worked for NBC Universal, and then I worked for WGN and CLTV producing and writing, CBS producing and writing. And then I stumbled into radio and then got on air at Fox in Chicago. So I feel like I worked at almost every station. Almost.
Oh, and I remember there was a particular time and I think we were short a traffic person or something happened and you would produce sometimes when I would have to do the weather and the traffic.
Yes.
But they threw you on the air though then, and I think it was off to the races from there, no?
No, they never did. No, I never was on air CBS, but I would
Did you practice on the air at CBS?
Yeah, I practiced and did my little demo reels, but I wasn't on air in Chicago until Fox. So Fox put me on air. Yeah.
So they were the smart ones who saw what they had.
Yeah, the man who hired me was super smart and then he left. So
yeah, that happens.
I definitely want to dive into that because as I was telling Megan last week, one of the classic parting lines from TV, which we will get to in a second, but you kind of I feel had your moment, Jenny, in radio, right? You left CBS, you started to do local radio in Chicago, and people embraced the fact that you were genuine, lovely, great human being. As much as you want to not like Jenny Milkowski because she's the whole package, she's actually just so lovely. But I feel on radio is where you were finally allowed to shine and do your Polish lessons and just be you.
So it was interesting. The radio job was after I worked at Fox. So after I was on air. And then I lost that job because quote unquote verbatim, and I'll never forget, you seem to want to entertain people and we don't want that here, is what I was told. So then I got it worked out nicely because people kind of wrote articles about it. And the way that I got that radio job is the radio program director literally went on my website and was like, hey, I know who you are. Do you want your own show? right across
Yeah, of
right
course.
across the street from Fox.
wait.
So that's how that happened. So the same stuff that I did on air at Fox, I brought over to radio, and just because he's like, yeah, do whatever you want to do.
But rewind, because I feel like people were enjoying what you were doing on the air there. But that just wasn't the way they wanted the show to go, or
At Fox.
yeah.
I mean, I cannot speak for certain. All I can say is what I was told. You seem to want to entertain. We just want someone to do traffic. So I had like high aspirations, and I think it seemed as though they just wanted this little slice to be done, and that's it.
Yeah, but you know where I get that kind of traffic? On my phone when I plug in Waze, right?
Yeah.
You don't even
No,
need it.
I want a human being who I really enjoy listening to and waking up to.
Well, like I'm going to tell you a little secret between us. I literally have not had cable since I've worked in television. And I think, and I know the only reason I think majority of people watch any sort of local news is for, I like this person. They're funny. They're whatever.
100%.
So like, but that's whatever. That's what I think. Yeah.
But
Well,
I mean, no regrets, because
Right.
look at where you are now, Jenny. I think if from an outsider's perspective, it looks like you have landed in a place where they love who you are. You get to be you. You don't have to be in that little box anymore. And it seems like you have the most amazing opportunities.
I am very lucky. The only reason I left that radio job, which was so great, and I felt like sick to my stomach leaving it. And this is the crappy part about this industry. My agents at the time, who I don't have anymore, because I don't feel anyone needs an agent in broadcasting. But they were like, listen, you should stay in TV while you're still young and you still can do it. They're like, you could always go back to radio later. And I was like, okay. And I had this opportunity in San Diego, and they ponied up what I wanted, relocation fees. They like created this position for me. So it worked out for, more than 3 years. And then I ended up leaving that place and then going to where I am now. But both places, I literally have done whatever I wanted. I've not been micromanaged. I like curse in my packages. They bleep it like on purpose. Like I do whatever I want. So it's been nice.
I feel like that's so rare. Yeah.
Whoa. That's why I'm like, it's funny because I think like back in the day, you always think like, I want to work in a top market, and that's like success. Well, Chicago is a top market, but I'm happier here.
Right.
Weather's better. I get paid better. I get to do more fun things. So it's all like perspective. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy because you set, I think when you get into this business, you set like this idea of where you want to be, like what your dream is. And then somewhere along the way, you forget to realize that it isn't what you want anymore. It just takes like age and time to realize like, oh my, I need to admit like where I really am happy for real. And here's why. And then you get to that point where it's like, yeah, no, I'm good. But
Yeah,
it's a journey, I think.
For sure. And every day is still a journey. And when I like think about the future, I get stressed out. But like day to day, it's, it's when you think about it, it's like I appreciate what I get to do and I get paid for it. And, there are days that I want to punch myself in the face, but
or others in the face.
Yeah.
How much time do you put into your social media? Because I want to just remind everybody, they can find you on all the places, and what you do. I mean, I look at it and I'm like, this is what my better self is doing. I think you have such a great online presence though too. To me, Jenny, that's your next gig.
It is so much work.
It
is
like a lot of work.
And like the past like 3 years back, I really put in a lot of effort and like loved doing it. This past year, like, life comes in and you have personal things that happen. So I actually took a step back this past year and I'm trying to get back into it. But I mean, it takes planning and hours, and I mostly just cut clips from the show and but just editing them and making them punchy or funny, like it's exhausting.
So if you had to pick your favorite social media platform, which one is it and why?
I would say TikTok at the moment for sure. TikTok and then Instagram, but Instagram is literally just copying TikTok. So they're
I know.
one and the same. So.
Not everybody's happy about that.
I do love YouTube because I love longer form, like I just like longer form. I don't like condensing stuff. So I do like YouTube a lot too.
Yeah, it is fun. I don't know. Like all the social media, like you're right though, because if you do it well, I feel like every different platform requires a different vibe, a different length, a different sort of thing that you're going to post. And to figure out what your own brand is super tough, right? Like I find that I struggle with that. I'm like, am I a mom? Am I Megan? Am I what? Who am I? It's like this existential crisis.
Yeah. Well, and working in this industry, like I know who I am. I know my brand, and I do water it down, sadly, because I have someone who employs me. So you have to, at some juncture, like kind of watch what you do or say. But it is funny because like you can never really fully embrace that brand unless you're out on your own, like these social media people, which I know, like, I remember like back in the day, like anchors would make fun of like people on YouTube and this and that. I'm like, y'all know that they get to do whatever they want and make like way more money than we do, generally speaking.
Now I've literally seen network anchors in their bikinis on their Instagram. And I'm like, this would never have happened even 5 years ago, even 6 years ago. I feel like it's so funny.
Ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like things have changed and good because we're all people. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, it's all about how much you're willing to share and how you share it. But it ain't easy. Like,
did you get feedback on your social media in Chicago, Jenny? Because I feel like Chicago is still a Midwest market. And I still feel like those conservative values were definitely in play when I was there. And I think that you were very forward thinking in the way that you were presenting yourself on social media. And I wonder if that played into how, you know, the news director saw you later and your social media presence.
Here's what I will say. Because remember, I don't know if you guys still do it now. They had like that rating system, like for social media, Share Rocket or whatever it was called.
Yep.
So when that first came out, like they, I'm very competitive. So I was always like top of the leaderboard. And so they actually, when that old news director was there and the head of digital, they loved what I was doing. They're like, you guys should do what Jenny's doing. So I think that they really liked it in the beginning. And it was never an issue. Nothing, I think I remember one time, you know, that like media blogger who shall remain nameless, who likes to point out women who have a life outside of news. And if God forbid they post a picture in their shorts or out on a weekend, he thinks that's like blasphemy because, you know, Diane Sawyer wouldn't do that. So I think once he like posted a picture.
Diane Sawyer doesn't have your legs, Jenny.
Diane Sawyer also probably isn't posting a whole lot on social media, but now she might. You never know.
Right? So only one time this blogger like posted a picture of me in my shorts, and he was really misogynistic about it because he like commented like, oh, she's not doing herself any favors by like showing. And so it was like a knock on my body. And that's the only time they were like, listen, we don't care, but like, just, you know, just know that that's there. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, I worship.
You knew that already though.
What was that?
You knew that already. I mean, we know that haters are always there, especially on social media. Yeah.
It's so sad that like these old school commenters who don't work in TV anymore watch, and they assume like we are just one, like we don't have layers as humans.
Right.
So they like, this anchor shouldn't talk or dance or show her legs or go to the beach. Like you just read the news and that's it. It's so weird.
Well, like, but I'm proud of you for like just full blown, like owning who you are and going for it though, because I feel like I felt like I was always a little bit held back from doing that, if that makes sense, just by the nature of maybe which stations I was working at or which market I was in or what show I was on, whatever it may be. But like, I always had this feeling that I was leaving a large part of myself on the table. And that kind of sucks because I was like, God, I have so much more to give. But like you said, you're in that traffic box or that weather box or that anchor box. And it's like, you can't mesh in the fact that you're a real person. But if you could, it would have been better TV.
If the people who run television stations, who generally are much older and of a certain demographic, could actually read the comments from actual viewers, and viewers want real, and granted, not everyone, there is an older generation that wants traditional anchor voice, whatever. And that's like
Yep.
the antithesis of like, I hate that. It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, same.
Most people want like a normal person, and they want that person to say what they're thinking. Like when you watch a show or a movie and someone says like something relatable, don't you like connect with them?
Yes, of
Right.
course.
Even if it's kind of like weird or off-putting or whatever, like you're like, oh
Yep.
wow, they just said that. I think that, but I've never said that.
Right. I never said it out loud.
Yeah, like that's how it should be, I think. I don't know. Not everyone. Like you can't have like,
though.
you know, I don't know.
No, I agree.
Jenny, we're going to walk you through some questions that we're just giving everybody. Did you spend a lot of time like out in the field reporting? Because some of these things might be a little bit more like that, but I'm sure that you have very Jenny Milk answers for all of them anyway. Okay. Craziest place you've peed?
While on the job, by the way.
Well, on the job, off the job. I don't think that there's been like a totally crazy place. I think just a porta potty. I did like come out of a porta potty live on air once on purpose.
I think I've seen that clip. That's it. You have the best bloopers up on YouTube though too.
And those are like bloopers. Like
Yeah.
That's
you,
like
you knew. Yeah.
Like I like that sort of thing. Yeah. So luckily I haven't had too many crazy places to be. Probably just the porta potty.
Yeah. Okay. We'll count that.
Bad enough,
No,
though.
this one I can't imagine. Craziest viewer letter or comment.
Just like, where do I begin?
Oh my God. There's so many, like I posted a video today just before I hopped on with you guys. And this is not that crazy, but like, it's just insanity what people think is okay to say. So someone commented this is not the craziest, but they're like, Jenny Milkowski is cute. However, she should be married and having children by now. Apparently she puts guys off for some reason. Cute, but not attractive, I guess.
And they're posting that on something that you've posted.
Like that was on YouTube. So I made a video. I use that as like fodder for like my social videos. It's just like the audacity of these men to like say these things. Yeah. I've one guy who's followed me on every social platform, and I've had to block him because I just couldn't take it. And he comments about my forehead, but he calls it, what does he call it? A bulbous apple forehead, but he like says it like in a sexual way that it turns him on. So like every platform I had to go and block him. So I'm like, okay, I get it. All right.
He's like, I have a big forehead too. I have actually heard that as well.
Yeah.
Or I got one comment from a viewer one time that was like, forehead, more like 5 head. And I was like, oh, that's so clever. Like, I don't know. You know
that one.
First of all, y'all don't think like I have a mirror. Like, I know what I look like. And also, what is the point of your comment? Like, I don't.
Where's it going to go? Like, what are you going to do to your forehead? You're going to come in with bangs the next day? Like this? Probably not.
Like,
okay. You get propositioned a lot though, don't you, on social media?
Yeah, I would say a fair amount. I think I've actually gave 2 guys opportunities. I don't know how that happened. I try not to dive into my DMs, but there are like some normal dudes out there who actually write very nice, and women, supportive comments. But yeah, there's a lot of people have like send me money on Venmo. I'm like, all right, I'll take it. Buy yourself a coffee.
How much money?
Hold on. Rewind.
$15.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Like, buy yourself a coffee on me, grab a beer on me. I'm like,
all right, cool, thanks. That's good. Jenny, wait, rewind. You said some people like will slide into your DMs or whatever, you'll read it. Have you had a date with someone? Okay, so how did that go? Was it awkward? Were they weirded out? Like,
no, nature of the job, I can get along with everyone. It just depends on if there's chemistry, right? This particular person, we got along super well. There was no chemistry, not awkward at all. There's another guy who I never met, but started like love bombing me right away. So I never met him.
What is that? I'm not familiar with these terms.
It's before, well, now that I'm in the dating game, it's when someone like before they even like know you or really meet you, like start overly like loving on you. Like it's hard to explain. Like they want
I can see ourselves married and having 8 kids.
Right. Stuff like that where you're like, whoa, clearly you have issues. And,
yeah. Like, where's this going to go if you actually meet them?
Right. Yeah.
Most dangerous assignment.
Well, okay. So in Chicago, I don't know if this is dangerous, but I flew with Fox. I went up with the Aerostars for the Air and Water show. And I did like the stunts with them. that was super fun. That's probably the most dangerous. I barfed after that.
I've been asked a couple times and won't do it because I know I would puke in the plane.
I
with the
didn't
camera on.
realize what they were asking me until I like was getting in the plane. I was like, oh shit, okay.
Right? Like
At least it was when it had landed, though.
Yeah. So that was probably the most dangerous. Then I have like a lot of water sports I've done where I just fared poorly, but yeah.
Graceful as a gazelle on some of those
exactly
jumping pontoons. I love those. Besides the fact, can I just side note real quick? I think it's awesome. You work with a woman photog, right? Most of the time, which is great and rare.
So I'll quickly get into that. So that was my last station where they actually whatever. So it was me and a female, and we're creating this content that was very like YouTube-esque. Like It was nothing you've seen on the news before. We thought the same way. Our brains like were synced up. So she would edit it in a way where there's like emojis and curse words and bleeps, and it was like fast editing, and it was what you would see on YouTube. But we put it on the news, and we did that for a good like 2 years. And it got a huge response. But unfortunately that station couldn't afford to keep that franchise going.
Yeah, that's too bad because that was really special. Also, didn't you clean up at the Emmys with that stuff?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it was good. It was different. It was good. Yeah. And we were just like hitting a stride, and then they hit the brakes.
Isn't that the way it goes?
Nature of the beast, right? Yeah. All right, tell me you worked in TV news without telling me you worked in TV news.
Just or work. Look at my closet. the solid color dresses. I actually love waking up at 3 a.m. So there's that.
Good for you. I really like it.
They pulled me off the morning show, and I'm like, I was like depressed for weeks. I'm like, I miss waking up at 3 a.m. and like being in the morning.
What, just being done early? What part did you like about it?
Everything about it. I'm a morning person, so I love getting up early. I love the morning show, the vibe of it, the fast pacedness, being done early. Because going in later now, I do the evenings, and I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was never good at that.
Life. I mean,
it is great for my social life because I'm recently single. So it is great for that.
Yeah.
I get to sleep in and go out and do stuff. So it is nice.
Yeah. All right. Longest time on air straight.
I would say 6 hours. I think our weekend show, I anchored the weekend show for a little bit, 6 hours.
So no crazy breaking news where you had to like push through.
Because only until recently, like I purposely want to stay away from
that's not your vibe, right?
Not my vibe. I like to make people laugh, not make them depressed. Mm-hmm. But on that note, I have been anchoring at this news station. But it's like the shows that they do we cover all the hard news, but there's a lot of shenanigans. So.
Like it's fun too.
Yeah. Your beat is the shenanigans.
I never got to work at a station like that. I always wanted to, and like just somehow it just never really worked out. You know, I just kind of like followed the like bigger market trend instead of going towards where it would be fun. And in hindsight, I wonder, like, would I still be in the business had I done that? I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like I put myself out there that way. I don't want any,
Right.
There's like WGN in Chicago, the morning show, like that would be dream. Like that's probably the only way I'd come back home to Chicago is to work for them.
Right.
Yeah.
There.
And that's such a unique market. And that's one of those things though, when they're an 800-pound gorilla in those markets, it's like, I feel like the newsroom philosophy and consultants would always say, well, you can't do oranges to oranges, right? With them, or apples to apples, I guess, as it's more commonly known. Like you can't do what they're doing. So you have to give people something else. I'd worked in 2 markets where that kind of like wacky, funny, lovable people, the show does really well. And so I've always been like, so we are not them. We are defined by being not them.
But I hate that though, because it doesn't mean that you can't do it too. You can't also we could also have been entertaining or done more fun stuff or whatever. It's like, just because they're doing it doesn't mean they've cornered the market on being interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It also goes back to like managers need to know, a good manager knows the strengths and weaknesses of their talent, and they will place them in a way, because I've worked with people who cannot banter to save the life of them, and it's awkward, and you can't make a fun show with that, because these are straight up journalists who cannot banter, because not every journalist can banter. So it's like, you need a good mix of
It's a
these
different
people.
skill set. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. All right. Some TV talent that you have learned by working in TV that you translate to your life that other people can learn from and do as well.
Okay. I've noticed just in life with friends and people I date, whatever, that people don't ask questions and they don't really like listen or engage with people. So I think working in this industry, I love listening to people and asking them questions and really listening.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is such a huge skill set that most people do not have that don't work.
But did you have it before you started working in TV news?
I mean, I'm sure I do think to an extent, but I think working in the industry, you, especially dealing with all the, like a plethora of different, a variety of people, like you really hone in those skills on how to speak to certain people and make them feel like
Heard.
heard.
Yeah.
Yep. Oprah would be very proud.
I mean, but like even like the guy that I'm like kind of seeing now, he literally stopped me on our date and looked at me and he goes, hopefully I'll never see this video, but he's like, wow, because I met one of his friends. He's like, you really asked like engaging questions and it really seemed like you cared about my friend like that. Wow, that's a huge green flag. I'm like, yeah, buddy. See, so it comes in handy in the dating pool as well.
Yeah, but you probably did. Like if you're a journalist at heart and you're fascinated by people, like the reason that's coming off that way is because you actually are curious.
Well, 100%. It's not like I'm faking it, but you know.
Yeah, it's something about everybody that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Jenny, would you ever go?
So
yeah. You said you would go back to Chicago for WGN. Do you miss being in Chicago? Because that's home for you.
It is home. My mom, dad, and my sister are home, so that makes it hard. It makes it hard. But there's something about walking outside and being able to go to the beach, take a hike, drive to the mountains, drive to LA, like
not freeze your butt off.
Yeah. So I do miss Chicago. It is home. I miss my family. However, I don't know if I can leave this lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because there are days where like you're sad, but you can't be sad because you're gonna go take a hike. You're gonna go to the beach. Like, and in Chicago, when it's winter, what do people do? They drink. Right?
Yeah, you can be sad in Chicago.
Yeah, you can. And it's like there's not enough sunshine and you can't get outside and you like fresh air and nature, like all that stuff. That's pretty critical to like actually enjoying your life and being happy. And there's a freaking 6-month portion where you can't do any of it pretty much.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's hard. Like I try not to think about it. But again, my family's there and they like haven't even visited me here because life is hard back there. So it's like, you know, you have to, at this age, you start thinking about like, well, how's this all gonna kind of, so I don't know.
Yeah. And what comment do you get most from people that we can put to bed here?
What comment do I get from people?
No, what question? Like, what is it that people really want to know about Jenny Milkowski?
How many cats I have?
How many cats do you have?
2. There's 2.
Okay. Are they around?
They're both sleeping.
Oh.
They're sleeping. I do. People poke fun of me at the cats a lot. They poke fun of me about why I'm not married with kids, as you saw. They really do. But most of it's not even a question I get is I just get a comment like where people are like, I just want to meet you for a beer, which I love. Like I think that's the best.
And you never know. Sometimes she'll say yes.
Yeah. If they're buying, I'm down.
You never know.
Yeah, right.
Jenny, this was great. We are so happy to have just even had a moment to catch up because I really missed working with you. And I got to run into you at the gym once, and that was also fun.
I do. I miss, and I think like being able to work in all those different platforms, like producing and writing and doing traffic and like helping a little in weather. Like for me, it feels so beneficial now. You know, just to have those skills.
You can apply all that stuff.
And you can empathize with, you know, because being a producer is hard and thankless and these poor kids because they hire children to do that job now.
Yep.
So it's, you know.
You've done it all. Well, hey, we are so happy for your many, many successes.
What are you drinking over there?
Try something with caffeine.
And
sorry as I choke to death, but like, yes, it's a boudoir. I love it. We're not sponsored, but I love it anyway.
You should hold it up anyway. Maybe they'll see it.
What is it though? Bubbler?
Yeah, I don't know how you say it. Bubbler or bubbler. My kids like to call it bubbler because it sounds like, you know, very fancy that way, but it's yummy.
Love it.
All right, Jenny Milkowski, thank you.
Guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You.